So today I'm going to show you how to create a choice experiment. We'll be using the SurveyEngine software, but it is something you could do with paper and pen or in another system, but this is something that I know fairly well. So what sort of choice experiment will we do? Well, let's create a choice experiment where we want to understand and model how people choose between walking to a destination or riding their bike. So we'll create an experiment where people get a choice between the two, and there's different traffic conditions and maybe different weather. We'll leave it at that and then see how we go. So the first thing we do is we'll create a new survey here because we're going to put the experiment inside the survey. So we'll choice example. And we're into the survey editor where you can add questions and images and that sort of thing. I'll just put a skeleton survey in and we'll come back to this. Hi and welcome to let's call it the transport survey. Click next to begin. A bit of formatting on that and see what it looks like. Looks fine. And we'll come back to this in a second. We're going to now create the experiment. So this is the experiment editor. You can put multiple experiments. We'll just be doing one today, and it's travel choice. So we're going to imagine the choices between walking or riding a bike. They're the two alternatives. Attributes, which we'll just do 3. Let's put distance, weather, and what the route is like. I'll put some values in here. So let's say it's 200 meters away, 1 kilometer, 5 kilometers. That'll do. We'll just do 3 levels for both of them. Let's say the weather is sunny, rainy, snowing, or windy. And we'll just have a couple of different sorts of routes. Let's see, through a park, on a suburban street, or on a major highway. So what we've done here, we've described all the possible combinations that we're interested in for these two choices. Let's have a look what that might look like, an example of one of the combinations there. There's a choice between walking 1 kilometer on a windy day along a major highway or riding a bike through the snow, although you're going through a park. I'd probably choose riding a bike. So on this screen, this is just a layout to see what it looks like. We can put different content in there by pressing the random content button here. So let's say we're happy with that. We can do some layouts here to change them to make them a bit easier for people to see, but let's go with the standard table layout for the moment. Now here's the next bit is the actual experimental design. Now this confuses a lot of people, but all it is a structured way of asking those scenarios. Here we've got what's called an orthogonal design. If we deconfuse you a little bit by what those numbers mean, we can now see this is our experiment plan. This particular plan will produce independent data that could then be modeled. So one person would see this alternative against this one. And then usually the practice is to have repeated scenarios. But what the professionals use is the Ngene script builder. This allows far smaller designs to achieve the same result. Typically, efficient designs can be used, but there's a number of different sorts of designs, just simply random numbers. Orthogonal designs, optimal orthogonal, but efficient are a fairly good general purpose tool, and I'll do another video on these later. We could block it, we could put prior values in, but let's just go with this. This is the script that if you bought a copy of Ngene you could run, but we can just run it within SurveyEngine. And there we see it's 21 rows. So we'll use that and we'll just import that into SurveyEngine. We've now got an efficient design for our experiment. 21 different combinations. If you were to test every one of these combinations, there would be far, far more than that, maybe several hundred, but the experimental design allows you to cut that down. That's it, the experiment is defined. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it into our survey, and Because we're going to put repeated observations in there. So we simply just put in the experiment, and we're just going to maybe give people 2 more pages, 4 scenarios, and then at the end we'll just say, thanks very much, that's great. We'll have a quick look to see what that looks like. Could certainly do with a bit more text. And here we go. The first scenario, which is randomly chosen, is between walking 5 kilometres through the snow on a major highway or riding a bike down a sunny suburban street, which I think sounds a lot better. A different scenario here, 1 kilometre windy walk down a major highway also doesn't sound very nice, or a 5 kilometre bike ride through a park, ideal, and so on. And this is how data is collected in a structured way for an experiment. In another video, I'll show you how that data can be modeled, but that's all we do to create an experiment. To put it live, we would publish it, confirm that we understand all the risks associated with going live, and pick up our invitation from here. And that is now a link that's ready to go and collect data for your choice experiment.